If your marketing efforts are not landing the way that you want them to, then the chances are it's nothing to do with your product, and instead it's to do with the fact that you're targeting everybody, but you're not really speaking to anyone. Now, you can fix this with clear customer profiles that nail down exactly who your target audience is, so that across all of your channels, your emails, your product descriptions, your website, all of these different mediums, your marketing, your messaging is aligned, and it will land with the right person because you get a clear picture of who it is that you're targeting. So you can tell when a brand understands its customers because everything feels aligned right across all those different mediums. The messaging, the impact, it all hits the same. And this doesn't come from luck, it comes from actually knowing who it is that you're targeting. So whenever we take on a client at Shawfire Media, the first thing we do before we start writing emails is create these customer profiles, so we get a clear picture of exactly who it is that we are marketing to. And in fact, one of the things that is included in these customer profiles is an actual picture, a face for us to look at with a name, demographics, job title, interests, everything. So we know exactly who it is that we're talking to, so that we can tailor our language and everything else that's relevant to that person. So today I'm going to show you how to build them and why they make such a good difference in your marketing messages. So let's get into it. Now, first, it's important to understand why people buy. Now, you already know by now that people buy with emotion and then they justify later with logic. So if you have these strong customer profiles in place, then what you're going to do is actually uncover the reasons why somebody buys and not just what it is that they're buying. When you understand these motives, these fears, these desires, these values, that's when your marketing starts to become super relevant and unignorable. So I've got some data here from McKinsey, and they stated that brands that are using accurate customer insights increase conversion rates by up to 30%. So now let's jump into my computer and start building these profiles. All right, so here's the document that we use for building these customer profiles for our clients. So this is the first thing that we do. Now, if you sign up to my email list, you'll be able to get access to this, and then you're going to be able to just copy this process step by step, much easier. So sign up below, and then you'll get this document for free. First thing we're going to do is we're going to fill out this brand questionnaire. So if you've been on my email list for a while, then you'll have already got access to this. In fact, I did another video on this recently. So again, when you sign up for the link, then you'll get this access to this questionnaire as well. So make sure you sign up and you'll get them both. So inside this brand questionnaire is what we give to all of our clients. They fill this in. It includes things like brand identity, customers, products, competitors, right down to the demographics. I think one of the questions in these is like, what's their favorite film, something like that. So it's very specific. So we get a very well-defined idea of who it is exactly that we are targeting. Once you've got that in place, that's what you're going to paste into ChatGPT. But first you need to add this prompt here that I'm highlighting. So copy this prompt into ChatGPT and then go from there. All right, so I've pasted this into ChatGPT. This is prompt 1, and then it's going to wait for the questionnaire. So then you paste that in and then see what you get. Okay, so we've pasted prompt 1, we've pasted the full brand questionnaire, and now ChatGPT has given us 3 different profiles to indicate what our customers look like to ChatGPT. Now, the problem with this is that it's very generic because Chat wants to try and optimize its messages into as short of a prompt and output as possible. So if you give it a big prompt to do, it's going to try and do it all in one prompt. It won't space it out over multiple prompts. And so for that reason, then the content is going to be shit, basically. And this is the purpose of all of this, is so that ChatGPT or OpenAI even can reduce the amount of outputs they're giving to keep their costs down. So you have to keep prompting it until you get a good answer, a good response. So what we're going to do is then add in prompt number 2, which is be more specific about profile 1, expand on all that information. So then you're going to get a real good insight into how they think, what they're interested in, their fears, their desires, etc. So paste that in for each of those profiles, and then you're going to get a full profile for each of those. Okay, so now you can see here we've got the expanded customer profile, Emma, the research-led rebalancer. I probably should have mentioned this is for a supplement company. So we're selling supplements here, and that's what all of this information that I've pasted in is for a supplement company. So as you can see, you've got the demographics, you've got some other stuff. I'm going to go into more detail on that later. I just want to get through how to actually build these things, and then you can see the finished result at the end. So before you start doing this yourself, you'll see what it's like to have a proper finished result. But basically now you can see that we've got more information from this answer versus the previous. The previous is just kind of surface level and just not really that impactful. But once you ask it to go into more detail, that's when you start to get the real juicy bits that make up these profiles. All right then, so going back to the third prompt, which is create a realistic on-brand image of customer profile 1 in this case, based on the full persona description. So what we've done here, we've told ChatGPT we want to create a customer profile. We've then inputted the brand questionnaire so that it spits out 3 profiles that are most relevant to that brand. Then we've got into more detail into each profile, so each one, 1, 2, and 3. We know all of the deepest, darkest parts of that person that we can, so that we can properly map who that person is and how we can sell to them. And then the final piece of this puzzle is to ask for that image so that we can look directly at that person. And then this removes all ambiguity of who that person is, what they look like, what they're interested in across your different team members. So we'll come back to that in a minute, but this is the last prompt that you want to input. And now I'm going to show you the finished result. Okay, so this is the final customer profile output. So as you can see, we've got this lovely picture here of Lucy Bennett, who is the informed wellness seeker. Then we've got another customer profile for James Harrington, who is the results-driven professional. And then finally, the caring pet parent, Margot Ellis. Bit of a tongue twister, that one. So here we go. We've got these different pictures and we've got all of this information like the demographics, what the household is like, the mindset of the person, primary needs, friction, objections, what wins them over, and my personal favorite at the bottom here, which is this one, the emotional benefit. So with the company that's in question, James doesn't want to waste a single time guessing his supplement choices. He gets high integrity support that fits his routine, respects his standards, and delivers results without distraction, helping him stay sharp, energized, and in control. Sounds a lot like me, to be honest. That very much does suit me, but yeah, you get the idea. So now what I want you to do is imagine you're writing an email to each of these different people. So you've got one for Lucy Bennett, you've got one for James, and you've got one for Margot. So how would you tailor the language in each of those emails is the question. You wouldn't really make, I don't know, like maybe this guy's more of a lad's lad than for example, than Margot Ellis is. So you wouldn't really make risque jokes to Margot as you would with James, if you get the point. You know, imagine just going for a beer with each of those people is how I like to imagine it personally. You might be a bit different. Well, that's my way of doing this. So how would you change the language in that email to the different profile that you've got? I'm going to show you another one. So this one is for a dog supplements, another supplements company, but for pets, so for cats and for dogs. So we got Mika Reyes, the mindful dog mom. We've got number 2, who is Jake Del Rosario, the practical pup dad. And we've got Alyssa Tanco, the social fur mom. So again, we've got all of these different types of profiles and different people in different demographics and stages in life, and you have to think about who is it that we're targeting usually, how can we change our language to adapt to that. We've got another set of customer profiles here. So this one is for a photography education company. So we've got Daniel, who is the reflective creator. We've got Elena, who is the evolving artist. We've got Richard, the devoted enthusiast. So obviously you don't know the brands, and so you can't see exactly how well targeted these are, but take my word for it, they're very good. Okay, so imagine you've got all of these profiles. Now what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that you're writing an email to each one of them and think about how you would change the language to better match that person, to catch their eye and to make them want to convert. So again, if you're going for a beer with each of these people, then you wouldn't talk to them all the same way. So what we've done is we've created individual emails for individual profiles and then tried to target those people with those different emails. So whilst you can't really say definitively who is who from your email list, what you can do, you can write an email to Alyssa, you can write one to Jake, you can write one to Mika. You can send those emails in that style to your email list, and then you can see which style performs the best. So this is a split test that you can do, or it's just a general way of doing things. If you want to say, okay, this week we'll write to Mika, next week we'll write to Jake, and then you'll start to get an idea of who is the predominant customer profile within your list and which customer profile gives you the best results. Okay, so hopefully that's given you a good idea of how you can build these profiles and how you can start to change your messaging based on who your target customer is. Again, don't go into your emails or any part of your marketing really. Don't go into any of it blind. Take the time to build these profiles because it will help you to refine your copy and get better results. This is actively how we're improving copywriting for our clients at Shawfire, and we're seeing great results from doing it. So this is worth your time. It might take you a few hours to do all of this and build it all out, but the ROI you'll get on that time is massively worth it. So be sure to do it. Give it a try. So hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure you hit the description. That's got the link where you can join my email list and you can get the brand questionnaire and the customer profiles template so that you don't have to figure this all out yourself. You can just download it from me and get started straight away. Make sure that you get that. Sign up to the list. There's plenty of other good value in there. Let me know how you get on. If you need any help, if you got any questions, you know where to find me. Besides that, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.